To the channel. Today we're going to do an oil change on the Mechron. I don't know if you can hear the rain in the background, but it's one of those fall days where it's raining outside, so it's a perfect opportunity to pull the Mechron inside the shop and get the oil changed. I think I'm at 51 hours. They recommend the oil change their first one at 50, so that's what we're going to do. I warmed up the rig. I ran up to the top of the hill, put up a couple of game cameras, and so the oil is all warmed up, and we're gonna knock out the first oil change. See ya. It's oil change day, so we'll see how that goes. I've never done this before. It's a 50-hour oil change. I think it's what they say you should do your first one at 50 hours, so that's what we're up for today. So from previously checking, I know the oil filter is underneath this front panel here, under the front seat. I'm probably gonna pull the front seat also, but I did put these aftermarket seat covers on. Bottom one fits really well. Top one, not quite as much, but they're canvas and definitely a plus. All right. So the oil filter right there. Now I just need to find the drain plug. Yeah, here's another angle. So our oil filter is right there. All right, so we're underneath the Mechron and 17 millimeter. Sure, head of the right direction here. Oops. A little bit of paint on there. Factory tight. I'm gonna go get something a little bit bigger. Driveway alarm. Perfect. All right, so there's our oil filter. We got the oil drained out of the bottom. Problem now is, of course, it doesn't really line up down below, and there are some things underneath the oil filter, but not enough to really put a pan. So I'm gonna end up putting a milk carton. We're gonna try that. Most of it. Well, it looks like the same filter and came from the dealer, so I'm going to go for it. All right, get the seal all lubed up. All right, so one thing I like to always do is once I get the oil out, I just like to put it in a recycling container just to see where I'm at with regard to oil capacity, at least what was in it. So that's, I mean, it's probably a little over half a gallon is what I ended up in that container. And so now we're gonna go look at the manual, which is kind of weird. So you can see in this first spot, it says oil capacity 8.45, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Then you come over here to the lubricant section and it says oil capacity 0.09 gallons, which is just strange. So we're gonna actually see what we end up putting in here. I'm wondering if either one of those are correct. Okay, so disclaimer, I am not a master mechanic. I basically have basic mechanic skills, so I can't speak to why that is in the manual that way. There's two different places where it says 0.9 gallons for the oil. The other thing that occurred to me is I did have it on ramps. The manual says that you should park it on level ground. So I took it off the ramps, opened the drain plug back up, and essentially nothing came out. I mean, there was a little bit more, but hardly measurable. So I don't think that was an issue. The other thing that I would caution on if you do this is the O-ring off of the plug came off in the oil pan. Fortunately, I found it, put it back on. So that's retightened, filter's back on. So I'm gonna go ahead and add oil. I'm gonna start out with half a gallon because that's what I took out of it. I checked the oil not that long ago and it was fine. So it's hard for me to believe that it's gonna take a full gallon or almost a full gallon, but we'll see where we go. All right, so we ran it for a few minutes and let's check the oil now. Let's see where we're at here. Let's wipe this and check it one more time. This dipstick is right in front here. It's not too bad to get to, but you got to kind of wiggle it to get it back in. This is not that uncommon. So we're right at our second notch there. So I think you can see that. That looks pretty good. I think we're good there. That is, I think, about 3.5 quarts. So the manual is pretty accurate with regard to how much needs to go in there. And rechecking what I took out about 2/3 of a gallon. So I probably was a little bit low on oil. So now just put this back together and that'll be a wrap on that.